Hi, my name is Grace. I just graduated nursing school December 12th and passed the NCLEX in 75 questions on February 6th. I've never made a YouTube video, so excuse this format, but I did watch a lot of videos on the NCLEX when I was studying to take mine, and I kind of wanted to give back and share some things about my experience. I've had a lot of friends ask me questions on it, so I figured there were more people wanting to know information. I'm going to be talking about what materials I used to study, how I studied, and then my thoughts on the actual NCLEX when I took it. A little timeline. So, like I said, I did graduate December 12th. I started studying December 27th, and I stopped studying February 4th. I took my test on February 6th, like I said, so a little over a month of studying. The materials I chose to use were flashcards that I made on lab values and UWorld. So for lab value flashcards, it is what I said, just the lab values. I studied them every morning, and it gave me a really, really good base and foundation on all of those. So those were just giveaway questions that I could answer. For UWorld, I did get the 90-day package with the 2 prediction exams. And my study plan was to do 75 questions a day for 6 or 7 days out of the week. So you could definitely do more of the 75 questions a day after taking the questions, reading the rationales, and taking notes. For me, it took about 4 hours a day. I did take some breaks in between there, so I went on some vacations and just took days off when I was tired. That just means you have to make up those questions later. At the end, I was kind of stuck with a bunch, and I really had to, bust my ass to get all of those done, but it totally worked out. I finished my last test question on February 4th, 2 days before my exam. I did do 2,100 questions, all of the questions in the test bank. Just a little bit about the stats that I got on UWorld. I know a lot of people get nervous about that. The percents can be really intimidating on UWorld because they're very low. You're not getting 80s and 90s on these tests, which you want to be if you're going to be taking, the NCLEX, the biggest test you've ever taken so far in nursing. So I'll just let you know I'm going to be very honest, give you all my test scores. So for the first prediction exam, I did get 67%, but that translated to a very high percentage of passing the NCLEX. I took that about a week after starting to study, and I took the second one a week before I took my NCLEX. And for that second prediction test, I got a 72%. So it did go up a little bit, and that was still a very high chance of passing the NCLEX. My average for all the questions in the entire test bank was a 56%, and I got as low as 48 and as high as 72. I felt very comfortable by the end of all my UWorld questions. I had, this list that I would read every morning on NCLEX tips I like, things that just made absolute sense to me for all the questions that would help me, like, ABCs. It's usually potassium, things like that. So I would read that, I would do my flashcards, and then I would do my 75 questions. If you want to know about how I did my questions, I did a mixed bag. So just any topic, I knew that NCLEX would be random, so I didn't do it by system. And I started by doing 75 questions, not in tutor mode, and then doing all the rationales, which I thought by the end I was really fatigued. Towards my actual exam, I did 30 questions straight and then 30 questions of rationale, and I would take a break. So that took about an hour, hour, break. I found myself doing a lot more questions than I did when I was trying to do all 75 at one time. So that's kind of a tip I want to pass on. This is my binder of notes. So it ended up looking like this. So I got quite a bit by the end. A lot of that is pharm because I took a lot of notes on pharm. I separated it by system, so when it would give me all the rationales in that random bag, I would take notes as systems for myself that helped. And what it looks like is just, it's just random about, whatever I thought I wanted to stick in my head after doing that one question. So those were my study habits. The day before the exam, like recommended by most people, I didn't do anything. I sat in the sun outside. I bought myself my favorite meal, Thai food, and I got my nails done so I could feel good clicking on the questions. I don't know. Anything to kind of make yourself feel better. And the actual test day, I wanted to know where the site was and things like that. So the day before, I also drove to the test site. I'm often late for things. I'm working on it, but that was something I did to help myself. So if you're one of those people, drive by the test site, know the traffic, where you can park. I Ubered, so I didn't have to park. And I also left an hour early, so I was really sitting in there for a while. So the NCLEX actual day of, you go in, they're pretty high security, they're taking a scan of your palm, they're taking your photo. Something I didn't know was you are not allowed to go to your locker during, breaks that you take yourself. So I didn't even eat breakfast, and I thought I was going to be able to go to my locker and get snacks on breaks if I wanted. You do get 6 hours to take the exam, but they only have scheduled breaks every 2 hours. So that's when your time pauses and when you can go access your locker that you have to keep all your stuff in. So, when you're just taking little bathroom breaks in between those 2 hours, your time is running and you're not allowed to access your locker. Also, they make you take off your jacket, everything, just because they're really high security about cheating. You do get really nice noise-canceling headphones. You're in kind of like a little cubicle type deal, so it's very private. Like, people ask, oh, did a bunch of people get up before you? I have no idea. Probably because I was focused, but also because there's just no distraction, which is really nice. The actual test questions, if I can just mention briefly, were very odd. They felt weird to me. This is a very personal opinion, but they didn't feel like UWorld to me, which was interesting. It didn't really feel like there was a lot of critical thinking, more fact-based, and to me, that was nerve-wracking. It felt not like which answer is the best answer, they're all correct, but which one might work with this situation, because I didn't like a lot of them. So I know that's a weird way to put it, but I called a few of my friends after because, like I said, my test did shut off at 75, and after feeling that way about the exam, I was very nervous. I honestly wasn't sure if I passed or failed. I was not comfortable with a lot of the answers I was putting, and so I called a few of my friends, and they said they did feel the exact same way, that it had shut off at 75, and they were very nervous. The test felt kind of odd, so I kind of want to put that out there, not to make you nervous, but to actually make you feel better. All those people did pass, and they passed in 75 questions, and so if you're feeling kind of weird, like, I'm not totally positive about these questions, I haven't seen ones like this before, just don't feel nervous. We have really good intuition as nurses. You're choosing answers that, feel right to you, and you've gotten all this way. You've graduated, gotten through nursing school, done all your training. You know your stuff. So just that's my last tip to you. I hope this kind of helped give you some insight, made you a little more comfortable, and good luck with studying.